Abuzuya makwaba edeba POG media so biam ni eda so edi OSP sense mo ne Martin Kpeku omo issues a eno so eba ema officer bia no so allegedly omo so OSP office no HSM Martin Kpeku and so etimi obstruct officer now nam so ema the OSP and so ejina ni tumi so che Martin Kpeku a na chese ono so ehye ni bail conditions and bail terms no was say ono so de japade a ono ni din wo so beba before so ono so ebetimi amani bail ema amotimi process process nim ema otimi ba back na winner amafu di hu komo twene sere ne abasa na chese omo tutu se niema ana se tumi a the OSP jina so che Martin Kpeku no na chese emremu no ono so eni sa tumi no na senka the police and na chese omo so hwe na chese omo so edi sa ansemi na senka the OSP office no enso dey report koma the IGP se ono so ehwehwem na sei na Martin Kpeku ama de sa bantare enso etimi bae na me na ka say the police headquarters omo so ato omo sa afre OSP a chese omo so pe reporter and also ejina and as beche say Martin Kpeku and so it's me obstruct the officer and also amodi omunkrubo and so ebegu report no so aba abusia meze beje brani aboy there asansim
offender. So in the many institutions fighting corruption, if today Yoku OSP is the one that the police has arrested, then you come and say that no, why are you targeting OSP? The others too have crossed traffic light. No, that is not the issue here. Did you actually cross traffic light? And so for me, what is it that Iyoko, and he alluded positively, that there are prosecutorial powers, that the Attorney General still have oversight over the OSP.
Right.
The Attorney General is appointed by who?
The President.
And is partisan.
Yes.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor or the Special Prosecutor is appointed by who?
The President.
So where's the partisanship coming from? So all or both, in this instance, are appointed by one appointor. So you cannot say that one is more political or partisan than the other. Then we should be looking at how to empower these institutions without executive appointees, appointments. But all the institutions that we are talking here, which one of them is not appointed by a president? And assuming that partisanship is evoked because they are appointed by a president, then bro, this argument cannot stand. That some politicians want to take over because Attorney General is appointed. You see, let me come to the recent issue, which I thought no one should be making the argument about Martin Kpeku. The issue of obstruction should be investigated by OSP. Should it be investigated by OSP? The OSP simply have to make a report to appropriate institutions like the Ghana Police Service. And they will carry out their investigations. Not the OSP leveling allegations against you, which you are denying, and then he goes ahead to be demanding punitive or imposing punitive measures, including going to see landed property and what have you, wasting our resources. Take Martin Kpeku, move him here, carry vehicles, take officials. We are overspending on a matter that could simply be handled by the police and other institutions. Right? We don't need to take the vehicles, fuel them, ensure that drivers are moved to go and do what we are doing. When it is a simple matter that, look, the man obstructed an officer. For that matter, the investigation should be taken by an independent body. Second or third, in the issue regarding Martin Kpeku, he makes allegation against you. And you are clothed with the same authority to say you want to investigate it. So I sit here, and you make allegations against me. And I now call you to come and justify. If I think that you have made allegations that are not tenable, I have to report you.
Is the office not distinct from the officers of the office? Because his claim or his Martin's issue is with the special prosecutor, Agyaben himself, not his office, unless I'm mistaken.
So therefore, Agyaben makes a formal complaint.
So he's made a formal complaint to OSP, the office.
Which one? The office that he's heading. It's like me being a judge and reporting myself to the law court. And then the matter comes, and I am the judge sitting over and presiding over. So assuming that Martin attacked the OSP and his integrity, then the OSP would have to sit back and say, look, my integrity has been subjected to defamation, to unnecessary attacks. Please, can you come in? Report to other appropriate institutions. But you cannot be the one to be holding the boy. See, I say boy. Sorry.
Boy man.
You cannot be the one to be holding him and insisting that you want to exert your pound of flesh and think that people will sit down and watch you. If somebody has attacked your persona, it is not for you to now come and say that, look, I want to deal with you. So this intimidation put on Martin Kpeku is needless. It's unacceptable. It doesn't sit well for the impartiality of an institution of this caliber. And that is why most often, when there is an issue, even when you are a judge, you are a lawyer, and you have a case, you are expected to go and bring another lawyer. So, you see...
Before you continue, earlier you mentioned that if what Martin did, i.e. Going in there and obstructing them performing their duties, if indeed is the case, then what we were supposed to do was to report to the police.
Absolutely.
Now, if you read the Special Prosecutors Act on, I think...
69,
even 28 says that the officers, they have the power to exercise the powers of the police. It says the special prosecutor and authorized officers shall exercise the powers of a police officer specified in the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 1960. So what it simply means
I am
here
saying that
they can arrest.
So who are they arresting for who? Who are they arresting for who? Because you are making the allegation. Martin Kpeku say, I did not assault, I did not obstruct. And you are the one making the allegations. So what it means is that you will not be impartial. There is certainly, because Martin Kpeku has said so many things that you are not pleased with, for which reason you are dragging him before yourself. And then you come and say that, look, your scenario has been compounded because you even obstructed an officer.
But that's the case Austin is making. Now, we've had instances where people have made allegations against the IGP, and we end up having the police pick these people up.
And then we always agree.
So that's the... So
do we always agree?
But he's asking, why have we not asked
Do
for
we
the
always
IGP's
agree? I have been victim of... Look, this current IGP, if you ask my opinion, I have different opinion. Because why? I went on protestations that possibly will lead to the removal of the MPP and Addo. In those protestations, this IGP led people to come and beat us. Yep.
When he was deputy.
Then he was deputy, you remember? They beat us mercilessly. And today, when there is a change of government, he is a beneficiary that has been uplifted. What do I say? Do I go crying to Mr. President, hello, Mr. President? This is the man that was leading his peers to beat us. They beat us. And I can give you just one example, and you will see how it was, 28th June 2024. You remember? When we did the 2-day demonstration.
Yes.
On the 28th of June, look at the beating we were subjected to. What was our crime? You said we cannot use coming through the Nima police station and climbing the Sankara interchange or the interchange and going to the Ministry of Finance. Just because we declined that, we will not use your route, your path. And you said we will not use our path. We were in the same location. We were overbeaten. We were overbeaten. Ofosu Ampofo fell off a Kia track. Asiedun Ketia jumped and dived in a car. Those actions have made you IGP today. So I am saying that we don't go back to those things. Like I said, the office of the special prosecutor has not added to the fight against corruption. And I've seen Sami, my brother, that I respect and he knows I respect him, Dako, bring a litany of what they call achievements. And then I also come to see
of achievements.
To see a very spurious comparison, saying that why they have to build an office from scratch, so their budget, the Speaker of Parliament is uninformed. If you recall, from the outset, Speaker Bagwin in Parliament said that the office of the Special Prosecutor was needless before it was brought into office. I maintain that it is still needless, because if we sit here and we say that Iyoko has not exacted what we want, we sit here and say FIC has not exacted what we want, we sit here and say that the BNI, now NIB, has not exacted what we want, the CID, the SHRAJ, then why are we creating more multiplicity of the same institutions when probably the question is, how do we insulate them from executive control? 2, how do we empower them so that they can conduct their work independently and impartially? And not just go and bring people while you don't know the circumstances under which Kissi Agyaben was brought into office. You don't know the promoters of Kissi Agyaben. You don't know. You don't know that it was Gabi Asiridaku who first pronounced that Kissi Agyaben could be a better special prosecutor. When many people did not even know Kissi Agyaben and his power, his legal control. Gabi, and you know those days when Gabi speaks, Akuffo has spoken, Ken Ofurata has spoken. And go and check the tweets, and you come to the very lucid conclusion that, look, Kissi Agyaben's appointment, if we are talking about partisanship, then you cannot run away from that.
Okay. Right, thank you. Viewers, we've been joined in studio by my brother, Kwame Owusu-Danso, President, in fact, His Excellency Kwame Owusu-Danso, President. I should have called Bernard Mona also His Excellency, forgive me.
I am
President.
I am a true comrade. Brother Gaddafi did not cherish being called president.
Okay, so I'll call you brother.
Yet,
brother
that he was a leader of such huge magnitude.
So, brother Bernard Mona.
Yeah.
So Kwame Owusu-Danso, President, Accountability Forum. Kwame, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Kodio.
How are you doing?
You only look for me when it is Saturday.
Why are you doing this thing on set? You're telling the whole nation I'm not a good friend, brother. Don't do that. Well, we're also joined on Zoom by Dr. Addo lecturer with the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana.
He didn't go clubbing. Doctor didn't go clubbing.
Yes,
he declined to come to the studio.
You know, I like it when he's on set. I don't know why he usually likes to join us via Zoom.
My panel
We will demonstrate.
They will demonstrate against you not joining us in person.
I'm not wearing red today, so...
Yeah, Doc, good morning. Don't worry. They don't know that I asked you to join on Zoom, so the demonstration should be against me, so not you. Doc, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Doc. How are you doing too?
Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Right.
So
now
good morning to the panelists, my colleagues there.
Okay. Now that I have your attention, Doc, I'll ask the same question I asked my first two panelists. Asking for to do away with the office of the special prosecutor, is that the solution? Is that what would make the whole situation get better? Is that what would improve our fight against corruption and corruption-related activities?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we began this conversation on Wednesday on Focus, right? And I said that I do not support the call for the removal of the special office of the special, or the scrapping of the office of the special prosecutor, right? And I still stand by that, position. Now, from the Wednesday that we met there, I think that there was some development. So I think that we should put the two into perspective. One has to do with Martin Kpeku's invitation and then the subsequent detention. In my view, I think that it was needless, right? Because, and I heard, my brother, the lawyer, right, explaining.
Oh, okay, Austin, yes.
Yes, some of the charges and all that he was obstructing justice. In my view, this is some of Martin Kpeku was not the subject of investigation. He made specific allegations against the special prosecutor, and then you invited him. Okay, so what justice was he obstructing? To give you the information. So if Martin Kpeku was the subject of investigation, in my view, it's a different thing. But you invited him to come and give you, maybe, as we normally say, further and better particulars or something, and which in my view was not even necessary, right? Because he made specific allegation against, your office, and I do not think it was necessary for him, for them to have invited. Because if you do so, it's like you are trying to gag people from criticizing your office. And if you are an officer, a public officer, and you do not want people to criticize you, right, then it means that, in my view, there are issues. So I think that, in my view, that was needless, okay? His detention and what have you, asked him to support, good condition to come with a property in his name. In my view, those things were needless because he was not the subject of investigation. You invited him to come and give you maybe further information or whatever. So let's put that in context. Now, let's come up to the office of the special prosecutor, right? There were a number of issues at the time, prior to the creation of the special prosecutors or the office of the special prosecutor. One has to do with the political issue that, over the period, right, we have noticed that governments are not able to hold their own people accountable, okay? They are able to do that when they, the government that had left, all right? And it was not a good thing. So it's because the Attorney General who prosecutes, such matters is a member of the executive and all that. So that was just one of those reasons, okay? There were also issues about institutional impotence. Okay, we had Shraj, the BNI, which is not the NIB, even Public Account Committee, auditing and all that. But there were a number of issues, okay? So that was why the idea was mooted to establish, an independent body that is responsible for corruption and corruption-related cases, all right? So, and I think this went through the process, through Parliament and all that. So it was passed into law. But so let's try to look at, if we say that we are scrapping the office, all right, then what happened to those issues that prevailed before the establishment of the special prosecutor? So I think that the special prosecutor position in my office is still relevant, because if you look at the Act, I read the Act again, okay, if you look at the Act, okay, you can see that this Act specifically established that institution for a purpose, to fight graft, okay? So in terms of investigations, for example, if you look at it, you can see that there is, a shift from the usual burden of proof rules, okay, especially on matters of assets and then assets recovery by the special prosecutor, where so you realize that, the suspects are supposed to declare their assets. There are provisions on seizure of tainted assets. There are provisions on disclosures, there are provisions of freezing, and there are provisions of confiscation. So these are tools that are necessary to facilitate the prosecution or the investigation and the subsequent prosecution of suspects. Okay, so I do not think that it will be good, because if you look at the Attorney General, purely it is still based on the normal, traditional burden of proof that they use. Even though in terms of, prosecuting the case in court, special prosecutor also relies, goes through that. But in terms of investigation, okay, so if you look at all these declarations, seizure, disclosure, freezing, and then confiscation, I think these are new things that have been added, which previously were not there. The only thing I can say is the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 and 44, where there are some, reverse onus provisions. Okay, so if you look at this, it was purely established as an anti-graft institution. Okay, so that is why these tools were part of that act to make it effective. Now, so we should look at, now there is what ought to be, which is the act that we have and what special prosecutor is supposed to do. The other aspect, what is now, the problem is how, I mean, those that are supposed to contribute, okay, to make the special prosecutor effective. I think that is where the problem is. The special prosecutor, like I indicated on Wednesday, was created, I mean, if you look at the creation, there was no sincerity in the creation. It was, in my view, it was created by the MPP to deal with specific people, the NDC that was leaving, right? So if you look at the arguments at the time, people raised the issues about, I mean, Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, that, I mean, it is only the, I mean, the Attorney General and all, so those issues were raised. But at the time, so it was like, okay, let's create it to deal with ABS. But when Martin Amidu was appointed as the first special prosecutor, you realize that when he decided to be himself, like the Martin Amidu that we all know, then, I mean, he started hitting, I mean, it was very difficult for him to make this in. And that's why he started writing articles and what have you. Okay, now another one was appointed after Martin Amidu left, and then he also decided to be giving us press conferences and all that, chronicling the bottlenecks. Okay, so in my view, we should rather be looking at how to address the problems of the special, I mean, the office of the special prosecutor, so that it will be effective. Already we have created it. It's because of the other institutions were not able to do certain things. So it's okay, then we need an independent body to be responsible for only corruption and corruption-related cases. So I think that we should rather try to find out the challenges, right, over the period. It's just about 7 years or so. So I do not think that the whole parliament should pass an act to establish an institution, and within just about 7 years, less than 10 years, we are saying that it should be scrapped. And if you look at the debate, I follow the debate in parliament, okay? For example, Honorable Mahama, the leader of the House, he said that the fighting corruption is a function of political leadership, which I agree with him. And he said that if you look at, I mean, President Mahama, because of his commitment to fighting corruption, that is why over the period, okay, for about 1 year now, they have not recorded any scandal. And actually, that is very good and it's commendable. But the issue is that he should have also averted his mind to the fact that we will not get, I mean, the likelihood of us getting another Mahama in the next government, whether the next 4 years or 8 years, we can have another person who also come, and the person will not be the President Mahama that we know who is committed to fighting corruption. So another circumstance, what do we have? I mean, look at over the past 8 years, right? What we experienced under the MPP in terms of corruption and all that, right? So if we say that because President Mahama is someone who is very committed, how sure are we that we are going to get, I mean, the next 4 years, 8 years, we are going to continue having President Mahama type of, I mean, of leaders. Okay. So that is why it is important to strengthen the existing institutions that we have. Now, Office of Special Prosecutor is now
Medasi so kame hona DJ Media na se bo Reactions Media unit say POG Media there about Ghana authentic political stories updates and headlines happen on sabetimi aka no also hu de echo and the air ban science measures so subscribe here and the any obo kwa so abejo subscription na wa share no for so ensa so esimi aka dwuma de bi no so hu de echo and the air ba betimi so abo the comment section on also wetimi edin komo e afa dwuma de medasi so je bread ma POG be se